Have you ever noticed that Instagram influencers tend to post on one specific topic in their Instagram profile? In today's video, we'll talk about why some of the top influencers in the world really focus on one and maybe two topics to post on. So about what is the name of these topics and what's the term used in the industry itself? And lastly, and I would argue most importantly, what are some topics that upcoming and rising clever influencers may want to look into while growing their specific brand? I am Air, head influencer at Inti Syndicates. And at Inti Syndicates, our mission is to avail e-commerce, digital marketing, and social media marketing solutions to clever and rising influencers, such as yourself. Now, if you look at some of the top Instagram influencers, one thing you'll notice is that they'll often post on one, two, and maybe three topics of interest. Now, why would they do this? The idea for an influencer themselves is to really carve out what's known in the industry as a niche. In other words, an area of focus that the influencer is associated or known with. Some examples of these could include, if we're looking at celebrities, let's say specifically an actor. The actor tends to post largely on the content in which they produce. So that could be anything from the TV show that they're on to a movie that they're upcoming in, and so on and so forth. Oftentimes, they'll also include their lifestyle, what's going on in their lifestyle. So it's very often that an individual, an influencer, will not only post on the niche that they're in other words, for an actor, it would be obviously entertainment, but also in the lifestyle of that individual. What we've found the most successful influencers tend to do is really focus on one niche in the beginning, and then maybe slowly start to branch out into two, and really at max three. Now, that doesn't mean it can't be done. And I'm always the type of individual who's like, show me what I can't do. And that's exactly what I'm going to show you how to do. Yet at the same time, those who've grown their profiles and monetized their profiles the fastest have really focused on one niche. So we've talked a little bit about the why, and just to reiterate, why individuals would go into one specific niche is to really associate their name, their profile, their brand with that specific niche. In other words, that when I think of this brand, I think of this niche. So we talked about the why. We talked about the what, the terminology, and the term, as I mentioned, is known as niche. Within that, there's a subterm known as micro niche. So if we look at a big niche, there's different ways to break that down. An example of this, if we look into the niche of fitness, there's many different layers to fitness, right? There could be nutrition, there could be specific types of fitness, whether it be boxing or yoga or calisthenics or what have you, lifting. There's many different layers to this. And so if we look at the fitness niche, within the fitness niche, there's lots of different, as I mentioned, just different micro niches. In other words, it's a subcategory of the niche itself. So we talked about why it's important for influencers to focus on one niche to monetize more quickly. We talked about the term itself of niche and the subterm of micro niche. Lastly, in this video, we'll get into what niches, and from there, I would encourage you to do some research on some of the micro niches. What niches are most popular and for up and coming and rising influencers? Now, some of these niches may seem very sensical to you. They may make sense. Yet at the same time, some of these are like, oh, wow, I never actually thought about that. First one, health and fitness. Health and fitness is a huge, huge niche with lots of popularity on Instagram. Everything from people posting really things around yoga to anything from lifting, as I mentioned, to exercise. Different types of areas in this regard. So health and fitness is one huge niche that there's lots of ongoing developments on. I encourage you to do some more research into the micro niches. Another would be beauty. Specifically, women's beauty tends to have a huge following, and it's a very popular niche. Travel is a huge niche as well that many are interested in, and there are many different Instagram accounts that are focused in the travel niche. Business, money, motivation, things in this regard. Another very popular niche with lots of accounts and lots of attention that is garnered towards these specific areas. Fashion. Fashion is huge, both men's fashion, women's fashion, and then from there it breaks down into specific, maybe men's suits to women's sundresses and so on and so forth. There's many different breakouts of that. Lifestyle. Lifestyle is huge. Many lifestyle influencers on Instagram and continues to explode. Animals. Animals are huge. People love animals, and this is anything from nature photography to specific accounts on anything from like sharks to giraffes to dogs to cats. Relationships. Lots of different accounts that exist out there specifically on relationships and how people can relate to each other and relationship advice. And lastly, memes. Memes are huge. The meme niche is absolutely insane. There's a lot of people who focus in the meme niche itself. Anything from quotes of a specific philosopher to Game of Thrones and a whole account on that to SpongeBob and so on and so forth. There's many different sub niches that exist here. So what I would encourage you to do if you're watching this video, you're looking to start your own Instagram account, Instagram page, is to look and identify which of these niches do you want to specialize in? And not only that, what micro niche are you looking to cover? I encourage you guys to comment below with what micro niche are you looking to get into. If you guys enjoyed this video, check out our free PDF, which will be linked below, where we give 5 free ways to monetize your Instagram account. And with that, beaming influence, air.